Told the plug I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. I told my plug I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. Told the plug I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. I told my plug I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. I'm in Cali every week.
Good afternoon. You're listening to Cannabis Corner on WNHHLP 103.5 FM. Broadcasting live from downtown New Haven. We are streaming live on TuneIn Radio and NewHavenIndependent.org. We are also streaming live video on Facebook Live. Just go to facebook.com, New Haven Independent, or go to your Facebook page, look us up, and check out See First. You can check out all the good shows here on WNHHLP. So,
Joe, how's it going,
Uncle
brother?
Lou, how are you?
Oh, man, I don't know. I'm trying to get adjusted to these new seats.
I know, we're a little bit lower now. We look shorter.
Yeah. Can you hear me there?
But anyway, obviously, the empty chair here. Kebra is not in today. Let me turn my... There we go. That's
get those headphones working. Okay. I was scared there for a moment.
Yeah, Kebra's not in today. She's not feeling well, but she's going to call in a couple minutes.
Which is always nice.
Yeah.
We love her, and we wish her a little health and recovery.
Yeah.
As always.
She had a long weekend, I guess. But, yeah, we had a nice weekend this weekend. We had our first class in the... of the series of cannabis vocational training classes.
Which was awesome.
Yeah, and Ellen Brown. Nicely attended. We had 12 people there.
Mm-hmm.
Ellen Brown came down from Massachusetts and talked for a while and gave a really nice presentation on how to grow in a commercial space and answered everybody's questions that they might have. It was a really good showing. I had a great time.
She brought down a world of information.
Yeah, she did. And it's always nice to see her.
Yeah, our little hallway was bustling there for a couple hours. It was really nice. Between Kebra had her medical marijuana certifications going on, so she had clinic hours going on. So she had her patients in and out throughout the time on their office. And we're right next door at Green Haven, so it's awesome.
Right,
and
right.
We had the class going on. Fresh coat of paint was up. You know, Well, little by little, over the next month and a half, we'll jump in there. If you guys want to come out and help us, if you can paint or teach me how to sand a floor or something.
There you go.
But we'll get all those little things in there, and we have a couple classes coming up. I know you'll talk about them later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that towards the end.
There's a lot of stuff going on, and if anybody wants to do anything in the room, we do welcome them.
Yeah, please. Yeah, we want to contact workshops.
Yeah, workshops, yoga classes, Renki. If you do crystals, if you're a crystal person and you want to do like a crystal showcase, if you want to, we are looking for artists to paint the black wall. So we have a blackboard chalk wall along the entire left side of the room, right, Joe?
Yep.
And we're going to take submissions, and we're going to pick 3 artists to paint a 8-foot by 8-foot section of the wall.
Oh, very, very good.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We're having some technical difficulties here, but I guess we're okay.
It's the new chairs.
It's the new chairs. But yeah, we'll talk more about that later. But there's it's been kind of quiet in the cannabis industry.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of news going on. Although if you live in Maine, if you're a lobster in Maine,
you're getting high.
You're getting high before you die. Yeah, I think that's interesting because Maine obviously is a recreational state.
Yeah.
And there's this place called the Lobster Pound.
Mm-hmm.
It's in Charlotte, Maine, I guess. And it's a very famous place up there. And they offer lobster, of course, because they're in Maine.
Right.
And they decided now that because Maine's a recreational state, that the lobsters should not feel much pain when they die, right before they throw them in the water.
Give them a little toke.
Yeah, or before they slice them open, you know, and stuff them or whatever they do with them before they kill them. You'd know more than that. You're a restaurant guy, but what they decided to do. So the way they do it is they're experimenting with the lobsters getting high before they kill them. So what they do, I'm trying to figure out how they actually do it.
This was a news article. I remember seeing this. I know you're looking to bring it up and talk about it. Thank you to everybody joining in on my Facebook Live. I appreciate you all. So we have Facebook
Okay, here
Live.
we go.
Let's
Here's
go,
what
Joe.
he does. He's got a special outdoor tank
Mm-hmm.
that he sends THC infused smoke into, but only at the customer's request. So in other words, when the waiter comes to the table, says,
What a dining experience.
Would you like your lobster to get high before it dies?
It is a recreational state, so there's no reason why they can't do that. That's that really cool.
Let's let Kebra in. Kebra, come on in.
Is Kebra in?
Hi.
Hey,
Kebra, how you
how's
feeling?
it going, Sunshine?
So me and Lou were just. Did you have a good time this weekend? Was the class good for you? Was it nice?
Oh yeah, no, it was nice.
Yeah.
It was nice seeing everyone and everybody excited to learn. Ellen did an excellent job as usual.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed seeing such a.
And pleased.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was such a diverse group between medical professionals, budding entrepreneurs, and even the lay. You know what I mean? It was really awesome to see such a mix.
Yeah, no, it was very, very cool. But Uncle Lou and I were just discussing if you're a lobster in Maine, how lucky you would be before you got boiled. Did you hear about this?
Oh yeah. Oh yes, I did hear about this. I heard this on the news this week.
Yeah,
this was big news. I mean, it was a slow news week in cannabis. You know?
Yeah, it had to be.
So yeah, apparently you have to request it. So in other words, we were just saying the waiter comes to the table and says, "Would you like your lobster to get high before he dies?
Would you like a smoked
And
lobster?"
if you say yes, they have a special tank where they infuse the tank with THC, smoke before the lobster dies, before they kill it. And apparently it dies a much happier death. And they say,
wouldn't it be so nice if it automatically made the lobster edible?
Well,
That would just be lovely.
well, that was one of the concerns they were saying here, that some of the customers were worried that the THC would actually seep into the lobster and make it inedible if they didn't want it. But they said, no, it doesn't do that, because once they boil it breaks down.
Yeah.
That to me would be a plus.
Yeah.
I'd be all for it.
Well, I'm sure they're going to start doing infused lobster dinners. I guarantee you will be
Well,
seeing.
at least the butter.
Yeah, the butter. That's yeah.
You will be
One
seeing
might-
that soon
might or
in
not,
Maine. I
yeah.
guarantee it up there. But now that it's legal, they got to get a way to sell more lobsters. But so I thought that was interesting, and I also was reading this morning, actually, before I came in, that now New Hampshire is afraid that they're going to start losing customers to Massachusetts because of recreational cannabis. Because we all know Massachusetts and New Hampshire do border.
They do.
But
Connecticut has that issue too.
Of
Every
course.
state bordering Massachusetts is having that. Oh my God, is it? But now you have states that border multiple legal states in New England, because out on the West Coast they don't really have that issue as much. California,
no, they're all pretty much the whole
linear,
coast, one block. Yeah.
Where over here, our states are kind of surrounding each other, because you can have a small state like Connecticut end up being completely surrounded by recreational states. And it might very well happen, because if New York goes legal, that's already half
one
the border,
side.
You know what I mean? And Massachusetts is already legal.
Yeah.
So that border, and then we just share a small border with Rhode Island, and they have very favorable cannabis laws.
They're allowing medical patients from Connecticut to come in and use their facility. So I think, New Hampshire has come out and they said, now we got to hurry up and start putting in an actual retail program. And I would hope that Connecticut sees the same thing.
Yeah.
That New Hampshire's actually come out and said it. Connecticut hasn't admitted it yet. They don't see it as a real problem, but they've got to know.
It's a big thing. It really
that
is.
The
because
first recreational in mass.
Once it's open, there will be business that definitely will be transferring over from Connecticut into Massachusetts, because as a patient, we can already go to dispensaries in Rhode Island.
Right.
So that reciprocity, I don't have to use a Connecticut dispensary.
Right.
If I wanted to, I could only use
Rhode Island if you're close.
If I'm close enough that I'm not transferring state lines or whatever the law is, blah, 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 blah.
Well, actually, I don't know. If you're a medical patient.
Because that'd be medicine, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Kebra, what do you think about that? If you bought your medicine in Rhode Island and transported it over to Connecticut, even though you're legal in both states?
I think that the illegality is actually carrying the cannabis across state lines.
It's not. I don't think it's the possession.
You're like that becomes a federal kind of issue.
So it's almost like they have to catch you right at the border, because once you're in Connecticut and you're a medical patient, it's legal.
You come into Connecticut with Rhode Island cannabis.
But how do they know it's Rhode Island?
Well, that's semantics, but
would know. I mean,
yeah.
You could definitely fight it. There'd be a whole lot of reasons why you would get off. But
but they can arrest you if you wanted.
That they could try.
Yeah, they could try, but being a medical patient in both states with the reciprocity, it would be tough. It would be tough.
It would be really tough. I don't think you would get convicted, but you'd probably go through the dumb motion.
Oh, you'd get arrested. That's not even a question.
But like I said, they'd have to catch you right at the border doing it. So,
or if the bottle would say,
you switch it before. Well, I'm not going to tell people how to do it.
Yeah,
we're not going to do it. Just switch it out before you cross the border.
Listen, we give good advice. We'll just give good advice.
Switch it.
My advice is, if
don't
you
do
don't want the headache, that probably won't work.
Yeah, stay in Rhode Island. If you go to Rhode Island, if you go to Rhode Island, just stay there and consume it. If you want to try their cannabis, that's fine. But
it's usually fun. There's places out there. Exactly. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Because if you go out there, you can hit the
club,
exactly.
Eve.
Cool kids up there.
Hang out with Eve and everybody else up there. That's right.
Yep, my Eve Santana.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for those people who don't know, the Tetrahydro Club is actually a club where medical marijuana patients can gather and medicate in a safe environment. They have entertainment. It's like a real club. They have beverages,
It's a social club. So if you think a community center for medical cannabis, that's kind of where you can really think about it. Tomorrow night is the community bonfire for Neva. Neva has the comedy night. Yeah. So they go up on the last Tuesday of every month. You can meet up with the Northeast Veterans Alliance and partake in some medical cannabis out there. And
as a Connecticut patient, you can go.
Yep, you can go out there. So you can go up a little early, stop at the dispensary, head on over to the Tetrahydro Club. They have a bonfire that starts up and a couple comedians. So you can actually, in a private setting in the private club, enjoy a comedy show and hang out and recreate.
Nice to do here.
It'd be great to do here. But, this is Connecticut.
But hey, look, at least they're welcoming us up there, and a lot of people do take advantage of that and go up there. It's not that far, an hour.
No,
20 minutes.
An hour and 15 minutes, and you're right in, and you didn't carry anything over. That's kind of what I do, just because I'll try not to bring anything over. Yeah, I don't even bring anything over. I go up there, I can hit the dispensary because it doesn't hit my Connecticut dispensary limit.
Right.
It's a fresh limit when I get up there. And, Kebra's picture is awesome. Good job, Joe.
Oh, look
at that, Harry. Harry got a Kebra up there. Kebra, you're joining us on Facebook and on the phone.
See what you're doing to me.
No, look
it's
good.
A great picture.
It looks nice.
Oh, okay, wait, let me see.
Harry picked a great picture. Good job, Harry. You know the way to
pick a real good picture.
Delayed on Facebook.
Well, your pick is up there, though. It looks nice.
Wow, I got super low eyes today. I think it was the edibles.
Well, I'm glad to be there in spirit.
You are you are a big part of our heart.
Yeah, feel better, Feel better, take care of whatever you got to take care of. I know you got clinic tomorrow.
Yes, when's clinic this week, Kebra?
Tuesday from 2 to 6, and Thursday from 2 to 6, and Saturday from 10 to 2.
Nice.
Very nice. Very nice, guys.
Same hours every day. Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I mean, every week. Excuse me. Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday.
2 to 6 and 10 to 2.
Come down and get your medical marijuana certification from the best office in Connecticut.
Well, we're located right downtown New Haven. It's very convenient. You can take the bus here. You can take the train here. You can take public transportation here. You can walk here, So I like the fact that the classes are right next door. The whole area, it's like a little hub right here in New Haven.
It has become a nice little hub. And they've welcomed us with open arms, and we really thank New Haven for treating us well. Our politicians that are elected officials, our appointed officials, everybody has been absolutely awesome in the area.
Yep.
And has embraced the culture. And that kind of leads into, who do we have on today?
Colin Sowney is going to call in. He is running for state representative in the 86th district.
Very nice.
Which is Guilford, North Branford, Durham, Wallingford, up in that area. Currently, the seat is held by Representative Vince Candelora,
right.
who is a cannabis opponent. So we're going to talk to...
And that's surprising because that area is a fairly, that area is, the demographic is our baby boomers who enjoy cannabis and they'd rather buy it from the dispensary than from a black market. You know what I mean? The cannabis users in that area would love a pro-cannabis candidate because they could probably have accessibility a little bit easier because right now they're probably driving.
Colin's a lifelong Guilford resident, so we'll ask him.
We'll ask him.
We will ask him about the people up there and why it's so tough to get. If you know anything about Guilford, like they already squashed having even a dispensary up there.
Oh yeah,
they want no cannabis businesses.
And it's ridiculous because the area is well worth it, and it would help the area.
Well, then they go to Branford.
Branford welcomes it with open arms, man.
They go to Branford. Well, this is right.
Branford loves their dispensary there because they have a bank. If I'm not wrong, they have an old bank building.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, they're very ready for whenever the moment Connecticut will allow them to do a drive-through. Yeah. They're ready. Yeah, that old bank building is ready.
All right, so Kebra, we're gonna let you go.
Okay. Well,
Colin's calling in a minute.
People.
Hope you feel better. Get some rest. Drink a cup of tea.
She's
have some CBD.
Yeah.
I love it.
And we will talk to you obviously next week.
Okay.
There's our call. Bye-bye.
Look at him. He's punctual.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, this is Colin Sowney.
Colin, how are you? Do me a favor, turn your radio down a little bit in the back.
Yeah, I'll blast.
I can hear myself.
Sorry. Yeah. How about now?
Good. You know, Colin, hold on a minute. I have to bring up your bio here.
We got a bio. How's it going, Colin?
I printed
it's good to see you, sir.
Hello, how are you, brother? I'm doing great.
I printed it, and then, unfortunately, I left all the papers home, but I do have it.
We do it right. Come on, Joe, do it right there.
Email.
We get a bio first.
It's right here. I have it. I just, like I said, I printed everything up. But anyway, Colin Sowney, hold on, is a good friend of mine. Colin Sowney I've known for quite a while. He is now running in the 80 Here we go. All right, here we go. Colin Sowney is currently running for state representative in the 86th district here in Connecticut. He is a lifelong Guilford resident who has worked in several vocations from the tool and die industry to the construction and building field. Colin has been fighting for cannabis reform here in Connecticut actively since the medical model rolled out in 2012. Colin is a registered medical marijuana patient here in Connecticut, and he firmly believes in its efficacy. Colin's platform includes earmarking funds raised through the legalization and taxation of marijuana for adults over 21 for the purpose of educating our youth regarding the social issues that exist today, offering them a chance at success when they graduate. Colin's distaste for corruption in politics is supported by his desire to introduce legislation adopted from the American Anti-Corruption Act, including and limiting public campaign funding, that's good, removing lobbyists and their predatory in financial tactics from the halls of justice, as well as enforcing transparency in government. As a hardworking member of society his whole life, Colin believes that no person should have to work more than 40 hours a week just to get by, and he supports a sensible increase in the minimum wages and also subsidies to small business who may be affected by the increase. The state's budget is a serious issue that seems to be under the constant scrutiny from the media. Colin has a few simple plans that together can help bring in over $500 million in revenue to the general fund and the transportation fund. With these and many other issues that are facing politics today, it is clearly time for a change. Colin believes he is one of the few running today who are in support of the change needed to sway the power back to the hands of the people. If you vote for Colin on November 6th, he promises to fight for what's right. I should have let you say that. But anyway, Colin, good. Thank you for calling in. I've been wanting to have you on the show for a while. Because
Joe, thank you so much for having me on. I'm so glad we were able to get together on this.
Because you are one of the few cannabis activists who actually has gotten out and done what he said he was going to do. You've been talking about running up there for at least as long as I've known you, at least a couple of years, that you wanted to get more involved in the politics up there. And finally, you have done it. You know, this election came up. You probably just had to wait for the election season to come up. You did it. You got the endorsement of the Green Party, and now you're a candidate up there in the 86th district. Congratulations, man. I really think that's a great accomplishment.
Yes, sir. I was driving by and I saw your signs, and it made me feel very proud for Connecticut Cannabis completely.
Yeah. I mean, for those who don't know, Colin was actually a board member of NORML when the medical marijuana program came in, and he's been an activist for quite a long time here, and now he's taking it to the next level. So, Colin, tell us a little bit about your plan for legalization. He hung up. Oh, call back.
He's going to call back.
How did that happen?
You there, Joe?
Yeah, there you are. What happened?
Oh, I don't know. I think I got disconnected. Something happened. I probably did something wrong over here.
You're all right.
What did you hear last?
Last I heard was Colin is one of the few activists who
has actually got out and done what he said he was going to do, gotten involved in politics.
Mm-hmm.
Few cannabis activists. And for those people who don't know, you were heavily involved in the campaign to get the medical marijuana program put in, and you were actually a board member of NORML for many years, and you had been speaking about, running for this office for quite a long time, and now you finally made it happen. I was just saying that's quite an advancement. There aren't many cannabis activists who would actually come out and do that, and you've actually gotten the endorsement of the Green Party, and you're really making it happen. So I was just saying congratulations on that.
Yes, sir.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you so much. It's very exciting. I'll be honest with you. I never imagined it would have been this much work to get out there and talk to people and have conversations with people, and then of course to be able to understand the actual issues that are out there. And I'll be honest with you, cannabis is far and away one of the lesser of the issues, and I can't believe they haven't even approached this thing yet. And I'll be honest with you guys, this whole thing in Connecticut seems to be a big wash anyway. Legalization's right over our borders in Massachusetts, man. How many people? You guys are right there with me. How many of you guys have been up to Massachusetts yet? You can sit. It's the promised land.
If you went to the Freedom Rally 2 weeks ago, you would have thought you were in the promised land that time.
Wouldn't even?
You really would have.
And that's right over our borders. You can drive there. Now we're watching our state funds disappear. And thank you so much, actually, for letting me call in and having me on your show. I appreciate it. I'm out here trying to do the best I can. The Vincent Candelora is a 12-year, 6-term incumbent. He's going for his 7th term now.
Right.
I think it's time to get rid of him. He's also the deputy majority leader, I believe, which gives him a position in the House, which this opinion he has regarding cannabis is actually pretty well held. And if we could unseat this gentleman from that position, we could hopefully see a little more ease with the legalization of marijuana, cannabis, whatever we're going to be calling it.
Right.
Personal. This has been a long journey, Joe. How long? I mean,
how long?
When I first met you, I was just still am just a punk kid, with a chip on my shoulder, trying to just make a difference. But
right.
Here we are today.
Actually,
here we are today. I got you on the phone, and I'm actually running on a ballot.
I know,
yes, sir.
Right, and it's 4 years ago or so, longer than that, 6 or 7 years ago. We were just trying to get the medical program going, So yeah, we've come a long way. And for those who don't know, Vince Candelora is not only somebody who's like just a no vote. He's a vocal detractor for cannabis legalization. He's not just like a representative who votes no when it comes up and keeps his mouth shut. This guy literally gets out there and is an anti-cannabis candidate. He goes out, puts presentations at the hearings. We've both seen his Little Dog and Pony show. And to me, that's a very biased opinion, and he may not be representing the people of Guilford. As you live there yourself, he's pretty much said that Guilford and his district is no cannabis whatsoever. No ifs, ands, or buts. And what is your stance on it up there? What do you find that the people up in Guilford actually do want?
Well, I exist in a different reality than Vincent Candelora. While he, first of all, he's doing a decent job at being a politician. He has children; they're young, and he doesn't understand the drug war or the effect that marijuana really has within the drug war, or should I say, the effect that the drug war has on marijuana
Lives in the bubble.
And also marijuana patients. His lack of education, unfortunately, leads him to have an opinion that is completely unfounded on evidence, and it makes him have an opposing view. And my position is simple. I would love to see in 5 years a model very similar to Massachusetts. I would love to see that tomorrow. I think we all would.
Right.
But we have to remember we're in Connecticut. These politicians, they're very hard set against legalization, let alone letting people grow any marijuana.
That's a whole nother issue.
Joe, you've been to the same hearings I have. We've heard it time and time again. I don't want my neighbors growing pot. I don't want crime in my neighborhood. Is what we hear all the time.
Right.
So unfortunately, we're never going to see that, I don't believe we will see that jump into legalization that Massachusetts saw go in Connecticut here. I don't think it's going to happen overnight. I think we need to build a plan that involves several steps. And again, I'll support any bill of legalization that comes through my table. I'm not opposed to growing pot in your backyard. I just don't think that our legislators in Connecticut are going to be for that right now. I think they need to get into the water while it's warm, and then we can turn the heat up a little bit.
Right.
By introducing grow rights for patients, which is something that I think we should have been fighting for since day one, 2012.
Yes, sir.
Communities should have gotten together very tightly, supported each other in their decisions, supported each other in their activism, and not become a divided network supporting legalization as it stands. And I think that if we introduce grow rights for patients and we get together as a community and support this idea, we may actually see grow rights for patients.
If we focus on that.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, absolutely. I know in Connecticut we're not so used to success, but in my opinion, if we want to see success at something,
right,
we should focus all of our efforts on grow rights. And
I agree with that.
I'm introducing a grow rights bill when I'm getting elected that allows patients to grow marijuana. I don't see why we don't even have that yet, and I'm pretty sure I have a lot of support of that in the community.
Oh, you certainly do.
And how many patients? Think of how many patients right now are on trial for growing their own personal medicine, and you know what I mean. And they're
people that we know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Get them out of the system. Get our brothers and sisters out of jail. I don't even know what the number is in Connecticut, and I really honestly hope it's not high. But I do know that it does cost Connecticut $62,137 per inmate to keep somebody locked up. And there is no reason that anybody who's ever been just arrested for simple marijuana possession, growth of small controlled amounts, there's no reason that we should be spending money on these people to be locked up when I don't personally think they are dangerous to society. Now, that being said, if there's violence involved, other illicit drugs oftentimes lead to violence and other illicit activities, so you have to weigh that very carefully. But marijuana is no more dangerous than alcohol or cigarettes.
Much less dangerous than alcohol or cigarettes. Let's be real.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely, absolutely.
But
how many patients are in Connecticut now?
Over 27,000.
Yes, sir. So imagine if only 10% of those patients decide that they want to grow cannabis in their yard or wherever they want to grow it according to the laws. There's not a huge hit that's going to be taken away from the dispensaries. There's, you know what I mean? It leaves a viable marketplace for both sectors. It allows the marketplace for the medicinal marijuana clinics and medicinal marijuana grow facilities and dispensaries. It now opens up an avenue for the budding entrepreneur because we'll have grow shops, we'll have our classes might be attended a little bit more. But it really
it is tough in Connecticut because
there's one grow shop.
We've been programmed for so long to be fearful of the police state with our marijuana use and our marijuana possession. Police in Connecticut have used it for so long. I know I personally was oppressed. I grew up in an entitled community. We're not going to lie about this here. Guilford is by no means a depressed community, but the police that I grew up with oftentimes would pull you over and take your marijuana and under the guise of doing something good, they were going home to smoke that shit. Come on.
Right.
I'm sorry. Can I swear? I apologize.
You can't, but that's all right. This producer's out of the room right now.
FCC is going to fine us $5,000.
Go ahead. You're supposed to ignore it when you do that.
So and I'll be honest with you, I don't know if anybody else has ever, had an interaction with the police with their marijuana possession.
Yeah.
Oftentimes that they make you feel a little bit put down about it. They don't make you feel comfortable about it. Like if you were smoking a cigarette, I remember as a child I smoked cigarettes and a cop would pull me over, police officer would pull me over. I'd smoke a cigarette and there would be no issue whatsoever. It was just like another thing happening.
Yeah.
If there was marijuana, it was the end of the world. Here comes, here comes the moral lesson that needs to be taught, and here I am just trying to self-medicate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not while driving, but.
Yeah, but here's the thing about Connecticut that I just don't get. Why do they think that we're so different than everybody else in New England? I mean, like. It's patients in Rhode Island can grow, patients in Mass can grow, patients in Maine can grow, patients in New Hampshire can grow, patients in Vermont can grow, patients in Connecticut, no, we can't grow. We have to protect our state from growing. Now, I don't see where grow rights have hurt any of these medical programs in any of these states, including California, Colorado, Washington, and Oregon. Giving patients grow rights or giving grow rights recreational has not hurt the industry in the least. Those 4 growers are all worried that if people grow their own medicine, they're going to lose business. Nuh-uh. Not with 27,000 patients and not with 9 new conditions that they just added, which that the number is going to jump up.
Oh, it's going to jump.
These cultivators can't even keep up with the demand now. It would relieve some of the pressure off them to let some people grow. And like Lou said, I think the number would be even less than 10%.
Yeah.
I really do. I think it's for people who can't afford cannabis, for people who know how to grow already. I don't see this diversion problem that they're all concerned about. I mean, realistically, is it going to hurt the industry? So why does Connecticut think they are so different, that the people here are so different, and we need to be protected from that? When you got 6 other states in New England that are just saying, fine,
and
let
you know
our
what the
people
crazy
grow.
thing
Let
is?
our people grow.
We hear on the radio all the time, and Colin, you could probably correct me if I'm wrong, but today I was driving and I heard a Ned Lamont commercial. Connecticut has the highest skilled workers in the Northeast, So,
oh, absolutely. We've chased a lot of industry out of the state of
Yeah.
Connecticut. But, there's a whole bunch of stuff you guys just discussed here. So, there's a long answer to why Connecticut's so different, and it has a lot to do with the pharmaceutical monitoring program. Remind me about this as I get further on, because I may forget that I want to touch off on the reason, which is the pharmaceutical monitoring program. Now, in the state of Connecticut, we have skilled labor that has been bleeding out because we've been losing industry. We are the largest. We used to be the largest gun manufacturer. We were a huge industry within the military-industrial complex, which we can all admit right now is a booming industry, unfortunately.
Right.
Once again, I'd rather see exploration of space where our funds go instead of war. But moving on. In the state of Connecticut, our producers have to be registered with a pharmaceutical monitoring program, which is how they produce their product. That's why they have weird names allotted, and you'll notice there's a registration number. This pharmaceutical monitoring program is involved in all the states. It follows how much opioid use is involved, where it's being directed to. It's just a piece of information gathering, logistical piece of technology. Now, in order to keep continuing on with this relatively rudimentary system that actually at this point I'm pretty sure is old, we can't just erroneously create multiple users or multiple producers in the state of Connecticut with pharmaceutical production licenses. If we were to do that, the system would, clearly red flags, warning, warning, warning. The whole thing would go off. And then, of course, under my plan for growth for medicinal growth in Connecticut, I would like to see patients be able to sell their overages into the dispensaries as a rollout, and let the dispensaries deal with all the taxation and registration and filing and everything. They're going to be making money anyway. We might as well make them work for it. And with that, once again, we create a problem with the registration within this pharmaceutical monitoring program. So the pharmaceutical monitoring program is why Connecticut is so different. And that's what I'm led to believe is the issue with creating more growth in Connecticut and with producers. Now, if we were to allow everybody to grow marijuana, there's a store in Milford, HTG Supply. They are a retailer of
hydroponics.
Grow
indoor, supplies.
We'll call it indoor hobby growth supplies. They supply to the indoor growing marijuana community. Soils, hydroponic, aeroponic, you name it, they have it. And they've got some pretty experienced people in there. I think Josh, and there's a couple other gentlemen in there.
Mm-hmm.
Josh, Jason, and another gentleman. They were telling me that in Massachusetts, when they went legal, their store jumped from like $10,000 a week to $10,000 a day in sales.
Mm.
I fell over. I almost fell over myself when I heard these numbers, because I first of all, I thought he said it wrong. I thought he was talking monthly and weekly, and he's like, no. He shook his head. He's like, no, per day. Now, I can't imagine how much of that was coming over the borders of Connecticut into another state, which we shouldn't have that income going to another state. We want job growth. We want economic growth. We want retail and small business growth here in Connecticut. And with all these legal states around us, we're like East New York.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We are. We really are. And so you saying basically, Colin, that our model that we set up here, our grow model, is unique in the fact that the pharmaceutical industry monitors it? Like this doesn't happen in other states? This is only in Connecticut?
Okay, hold on. Yeah, it doesn't happen in any other states, although there is another. I think wherever it is changed to a prescription. I believe there's one other state that dealt with workman's comp insurance. That's one of the reasons. And let's be clear, it's not the pharmaceutical industry that created,
yes,
it's not the pharmaceutical industry that has this program. While I'm sure they have access, so on and so forth, they're not the ones that implemented or created this program. This is a federal deal to help prevent addiction and overdose and overuse and the various issues that come up when you can actually monitor somebody's usage. This is actually how they caught the gentleman in Virginia. There was a small town, I don't know if you guys read about it, but there was a small town where there was more opioids sold than any other
I see. I see. So it's actually to monitor the pharmaceutical industry, and they're using it here in Connecticut on the medical marijuana program. Is there any reason for that? Why did we get stuck with this type of?
If you want to do something and you want to try to do it right and move it to a federal model, this makes the most sense if you're going to keep it a pharmaceutical and a corporate regulated model,
which is what we have.
That being said, you're never going to stop people from growing pot. There's no need to be fear mongering about it. Everybody grows marijuana. How are you going to stop people from growing marijuana?
And then there's this whole issue about hemp now. I mean, I don't know if you've heard, but hemp was legalized here in 2014. The legislator was supposed to set up a program.
Hemp is what, less than 0.3%
of THC? Yes.
Yeah, so that's basically any pot that's not flowering. So try to grow that in your backyard and watch the police come. I did hear that Aaron Romano is working on trying to get some clarity on that language, but I'm not exactly sure how.
Well, he's been working heavily. Yes, he was actually on the show, and he's the one who said, hemp is legal, grow it. But again, he's been having the same issue you had, where he actually tried to do it right. Went to the police department, went to the selectmen and said, listen, here's the law. He showed them the paper right to their face and said, listen, and they still said, no, you can't grow it. So he's actually instituting a lawsuit.
Also.
What's that?
We also have a variance in Guilford against
any marijuana businesses, right?
Yeah. So there's a woman who's heading the charge in a local group, the Guilford. I believe it's called the Guilford Day.
Oh, we know that. Yes.
Her name is Sue Krushek. I'll be honest with you, she's a superstar. It's so unfortunate. She lost her son to the opioid abuse. And she's really out there working very hard to help other parents to not end up in the same position. And it's unfortunate that she includes marijuana in the same grouping as opioids to a degree. But again, we have to remember that a lot of people were brought up with marijuana as an illicit drug, and especially in the communities of the well-policed communities, if you were consuming marijuana, you were a criminal. I was a criminal until 2012 when the plan rolled out. I couldn't even run for office until 2012 when the plan rolled out. It's insane is what it is, Joe.
Yes, it is insane. And that's what I'm saying. We live in this like weird, bizarre state where, like the land of steady habits. It's like we're beyond, we used to promote ourselves as such a progressive state, like we brought gay marriage in here real quick. We've done some things with the prison system that, we've done some really progressive stuff. But when it comes to cannabis, we are just locked in this backwards notion that, somehow it is the devil's weed and it's going to destroy our state. Meanwhile, Dan Malloy did a fine job of destroying our state without cannabis involved at all. Well, actually, it probably was in some way, but so.
Well, I was going to say, how do we know he's not smoking a little bit himself?
Well, yeah, we heard all about his son, right? And that's part of the reason I feel like, we had it held down here. And I also believe that part of the reason we have the type of program we have and is because of Big Pharma's influence on this state. People really don't realize how much Big Pharma has their hooks in the politicians here. And I keep pointing it out that they said, they poured over $600,000 worth of money into politicians' campaigns over in the last campaigns cycle. So you got to understand.
Joe, you want to hear something crazy, Joe? And I just read this over the past week. This has happened. I read. Okay, so can we agree everybody knows who Purdue Pharmaceuticals is?
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they also own a company in Rhode Island called Rhode Pharmaceuticals that produces the generic OxyContin.
Oh.
You follow me so far?
Mm-hmm.
Now, they also own the company, I forget where it is, that just produced a treatment for opioid addiction.
I saw that, yeah.
Now, Connecticut just received $20 million from federal funding to help fight the opioid epidemic. Where do you think that money's going, Joe?
Yeah.
Is this like one of those trains that I'm looking at? I'm like, there's the caboose right there. How is this not clearly laid out as being fraud? The whole thing looks like fraud.
Right.
And I'm sorry to speak like that, and I don't mean to be a conspiracist about the whole thing, but again, it looks like fraud, so therefore it needs further investigation.
Yeah. It
needs to be discussed. I'm not saying it is fraud. I'm saying I do view that there may be something happening here, and there's some investigation needs to be done.
Right. Well, how about the fact that Pfizer has an office in Yale, and the synthetic cannabinoid that was in the K2 that was distributed all over the green here was found out to be something called Fubinaca, which was developed by Pfizer. Tell me that.
I don't know enough about that.
All right. Anyway, so we know Purdue.
I wish I did, but I don't know enough.
Yeah. I know
Fubinaca does not sound like a cannabinoid.
Well, it is a synthetic cannabinoid developed by Pfizer, and they're right here in Connecticut. We know they got Groton and New Haven. Purdue Pharmaceuticals is here. Bayer was in town when the medical.
Oh yeah, they all came from Connecticut. It's discriminatory against health.
Yeah. You got the pharmaceutical and the insurance industry here. Two of the worst, the biggest ripoffs in the world. But anyway, we don't need to get into that. So, Colin, your platform as far as cannabis legalization, grow rights for patients first off, over 21 only. Any other things that would be different than a normal legalization bill?
again, Joe, I'll support any legalization bill that comes across my table, as long as there's no stupid things in the back end of it that, just don't make sense. I'll be honest with you. If somebody says, hey, listen, we're going to let you grow 5 million plants, and then at the end it says, and you're going to have to serve 5 years term, I'm going to say no. There's just certain things that they try to throw in, but I'll support any legalization. But my plan involves patient grow rights initially. I'm going to be in office for at least 2 years, 1 term. So my first year will be focused on patient grow rights. My second year will be focused on legalization. Once we allow the lawmakers to understand that growing pot it's not the end of the world. Nobody's going to die from growing pot. The heavens aren't going to open up and fall out. And of course, more importantly, the language they want to hear is their producers are not going to lose out on serious amounts of income.
Right.
They're going to do just fine, and there's going to be more commerce coming into the state through the sale and use of products used to grow marijuana, consume marijuana. You look at our friend Lou out in Rhode Island has his gene trader events where you get to go and buy seeds and clones. These are all events. They're in Massachusetts now. These are all events we should be experiencing here in Connecticut for at least the very minimum, our patient community, our patients who actually have a need, have a medical necessity for this product should not have to go out of state to purchase clones, seeds, or anything else, including marijuana products, whether it be, oils, flour, or vapes or whatever else you want, medicate with.
Right. We should be able to do it right here in Connecticut. We should have a thriving industry creating and selling those products right here. And it's a travesty that we have.
Keeping our money in the state.
Right. And we were an agricultural state for so long. We know how many tobacco farms have closed, how many, vegetable farms have closed down over the years. Could reopen.
We lost the 2 paper mills.
Yep. Could reopen with hemp, right? Imagine a paper mill with hemp. I mean, come on. And that's a whole industry there that we could be taking advantage of like they are in Kentucky, Oklahoma.
Both those paper mills would open right back up if we were able to produce hemp for textile and for paper.
The funny thing about paper is it's a dying industry only because people are using the internet so much. But you know what? I had a genius idea. Everybody's going to keep using toilet paper.
Yes. Everybody's going to keep using toilet paper. Everybody's going to use hemp. Would be great in the food service realm where you can have a biodegradable hemp container. Because right now we use corn. We use corn fiber as our biodegradable.
Replace styrofoam.
One of my positions is styrofoam. We're going to start getting rid of that thing. I'm going to start creating legislation that removes styrofoam, especially with the corrugated cardboard and various other products that are available right now. There's no need for us to continue to be using styrofoam.
No.
Plastics. A lot of people don't want to hear this, but honestly, plastics are becoming a scourge.
They could all be made from hemp.
You can make hemp plastic.
Green Party, remember, I'm third party. The 2-party system's failed America, so there really is a reason for the Green Party. It's because, quite honestly, my feet, when they touch the ground outside, I want Mother Nature to be happy with the person that's touching her.
Right.
That's awesome. That's a great way of saying it.
Yep. So we're gonna have to get off here, Colin. Let you go. Can you tell people how to get in touch with you, contribute to your campaign, where you're going to be? Just give us a little bit of information for the people in the 86th district there, how they can vote for you and get in touch with you.
All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. My name is Colin Sowney. I'm running in the 86th district for state representative position. You can find all the information you need at Sowney for State Rep. That's Souney. SowneyforStateRep.com, or you can go right onto Facebook and you can go to Vote Colin. I'll be right there to Sowney for State Rep at Facebook there. You can check me out or give me a message, and I'll be happy to give you a call or help you out any way I can. Joe, Lou, thank you so much for having me on. I had a great time. You guys are awesome. Keep up the good work you guys are doing.
Anytime, Colin. Thank you for coming on. Remember now, 86th District, vote Colin Sowney. All right, Colin, we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Okay, you're listening to Cannabis Corner on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, broadcasting live from downtown New Haven. We are streaming live on TuneIn Radio and NewHavenIndependent.org. We are also streaming live video on Facebook Live. Just go to Facebook.com/New Haven Independent or go to your Facebook page and look us up. Well, man, I hope Colin does get something going on up there in Guilford because they need a change up there. My brother lives up there, and I'm actually going to be starting to work up there this week. So I'm going to be in that area, and I want to work in a cannabis-friendly area, and I want to work in an area where, you know, I feel welcome.
That's right.
So
it'll be a good time.
I should hope. I hope he wins. So anyway, looks like we're getting close to the end of the show. So I want to just go over a couple of events.
What do we got going on, Joe?
We got the Medical Marijuana Support Group on October the 3rd, and that's at Bohemian High. Starts at 7 o'clock. That's a Wednesday night.
Very nice.
We also have the next vocational training class, which is the dispensary class, patient services and dispensary services with Brian Ascentier from MMJ Consulting.
He's
teaching
awesome.
that. That's on a Saturday, September 13th. So that's class number 2, and we're going to be announcing a few more classes soon. Other than that, there's not a ton going on for the next few weeks. So I'll get, you know, to the next stuff that's going on the second half of October. I know there's something going on this weekend. RB has an event on Saturday up in Mass if you want to go see that. That's like a sesh, a 70s themed sesh. Uncle Lou and I are going to be announcing some new dates for some cooking classes coming up in December and November.
October 20th, let's throw that one out there. Keep that heads up there. There'll be a basic infusions class right at the Haven. So
we'll keep you posted on everything going on here in the cannabis world. Just keep tuning into us. You know, you can always find us live here on New Haven Independent, but you can also find the archives on SoundCloud. The links are up there. And hopefully next week we'll see Kebra here again. And until then,
it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, enjoy.
Stay happy, healthy, and high, guys.
Yeah.
Told the plug I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. I told my plug I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. Told the plug I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. I told my plug I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. I'm in Cali every week. I go hard. Grower said he got sour, need that whole yard. I'm chasing turkey bag. I'm chasing gold yard. Tell the dime we won't go far. Blue sherbet stuff the whole jar. 100 P's on the Bay Bridge, stuck in traffic. If I ever run into Riri, let's make magic. Die doing something you love, it ain't tragic. Heard what I said, it ain't tragic. From the home of lay down, smoking ratchets. Never win when you spell it backwards. I got green in the bay, my whole team Packers. Hold the plug, I need 100 pigs. And my shoebox got 100 G. I told my plug I need 100 pigs. And my shoebox got 100 G. Told the plug I need 100 pigs. And my shoebox got 100 G. I told my plug I need 100 pigs. And my shoebox got 100 G. Gucci slides with the G's while I'm selling P's. Walking proof, money growing trees. Hit the plug, he gon' fly the geese. 100 P's, we supply the streets. Gelato cookies and that blue cheese. Yeah.